I don't know about you, but I am really inspired. I just finished watching all of Kosha's lessons in expressing about hand lettering, and I'm just itching to get out the old dip pen and do a bit of scrawling. But first I want to inspire myself, so let's go and have a look at some books that I think are really cool that will kind of give me some ideas and just get the juices flowing. Now, Robert Crumb is amazing for so many different reasons, his cross-hatching and all that stuff. But I love the kind of typography he does. Let me just see if I can get past some of the sex scenes. But look, that lettering, that's pretty incredible, right? You know, he does things that are sort of takeoffs on other people's lettering, but then it has so much personality. And all these different typefaces that he does. A lot of times he uses references that are like from another era, you know, from like the 1930s or 40s. But then, I mean, look at that with that drawing in there and this sort of Gothic lettering from the Brothers Grimm. You know, there's just, his work is full of all kinds of different typography, and it's all really exciting. And then, you know, every one of these mastheads for this magazine, Weirdo, he hand lettered that. And so, anyway, I could talk for hours about Crumb. Another style of lettering that really influenced me from when I was a little kid was Ronald Searle. And here's a couple books by him. Just have a look at this cover. I mean, just look at that lettering there. It's really, really beautiful. And there's nobody else like him. You know, and they're different, but they always have that kind of nervous sort of quality to them. You know, I mean, let's zoom in on that a bit. You can see, you know, it's all kind of spooky looking, like that. You know, and it goes, of course, with his style of drawing, but these little kind of twiddly, curly bits that had really inspired and excited me. This is an author named Debbie Millman, who is a designer, but this particular book that she did is full of all different styles of presenting type, and some of them are really beautiful and really expressive. And I love the way that she combines it. I love the way that it varies. You know, then she'll do strange things with typography. Here it is all stitched. So to me, to look at a book like this, it just gets my mind whirling and gets me thinking, look at that. I mean, that is just beautiful. So beautiful because of all the variety and the incredible personality and these lines that she's drawn to letter with, but they're not consistent lines, and that's what makes it so great. How varied they are and how weird. You know, and this book has just so many different styles of lettering. I don't really know how she did it, and then this, I don't even know what this is. It's almost like she's traced set type, but she's done it in a weird way, which I've done occasionally in my books too. I've traced type just because I couldn't rely on myself to fit all the typography in the page. And then look at that. Wow. I just love this kind of feeling of randomness and this juxtaposition of textures and things like that. Really cool. So that's Look Both Ways by Debbie Millman. She's done a couple books. Another artist who's kind of does experiments with lots of type is Lisa Congdon, and you know, she does all this kind of lettering, and she makes these little quotes, which is kind of something that we're doing for Kosha's class too, is this variety. So you should definitely look her up, Lisa Congdon. She has a lot of stuff online too. Really inspiring ideas. Here's another artist who I really like, Wendy Macnaughton. She is I don't know if you can see this, it's very small, but what I also particularly like that she does is she'll letter these, you know, these are all beautiful watercolors. She's a watercolor journalist, essentially, but she'll do things where she labels things, which I like a lot, and then she'll also do these big fat letters that she colors in. Sometimes she'll do them with watercolors. I can't seem to find one gracefully here, but Yeah, that's a great example. So you see there, this is watercolored letter. It's kind of written in ink, I imagine, and then watercolored inside as well. So that's really inspiring to me. Look at that, just completely freehand lettered. And then this typography, again, different sizes, some in caps, some in italics. That variety makes it really rich and interesting to me. That's the whole point of doing hand lettering, right? Here's another person you might know, Carrie Smith, an old pal of mine, and you know, I've always loved her lettering. Again, it's crude, it's personal, you know, it's just has a lot of energy to it, and she's inspired a lot of people with this style of lettering. So I probably don't need to tell you about Carrie Smith, but if you don't know about her, then climb out of your cave and look her up. Felix Scheinberger, the great Felix, who is of course teaching in our class in a couple weeks, but just look at the way he does type too. He does this thing where I don't know what he's doing there exactly, but he's emphasizing certain letters and going over them again. So cool. Here again, it's like this style of all uppercase, but yet some of the letters dancing, bigger, smaller, really cool. And I like that a lot here again. You know, so you're going to see a lot more from Felix in a couple weeks. We're all super lucky to have him here. Look at that. See, heavy double lettering. I think that's what he's doing. He's like going back over lettering, but he's doing it so perfectly it looks like the same letter. And then these little arrows and stuff like that. I love that so much. You know, this. Look at that. Really cool. So, Felix Scheinberger, a master. Speaking of masters, Jean-Michel Basquiat, you know, his work uses lettering, you know, in a completely different way, but I love that he does labeling. I mean, there are pieces of Basquiat's that are just lettering, you know, just this hand-lettered stuff. A lot of it was done with grease pencil, Chinograph it's called, or this where it's reversed. I've seen this original piece. It's huge. It's about 6 feet tall, and it's all just reverse type, you know, and then again, writing a letter and then going over the edges of it with a different color, but having this kind of raw quality, really cool and exciting. And then crossing words out for no reason, randomness. Boy, it just gets my juices flowing, folks. And then, you know, these kind of boxes around things, and the way that it integrates with the drawings. I mean, boy, I just love Basquiat. So, sorry, I'm not framing this right because I'm so excited. You know, his is, of course, influenced by graffiti, but actually graffiti is influenced by Basquiat these days. So, check him out if you don't know him, Jean-Michel. And then finally, I just want to show you an artist who you may not know, but it's an artist named Bob and Roberta Smith. It's actually one person, and he calls himself Bob and Roberta Smith. But he does all this interesting art that is all lettering. So let me just show you some examples. Like, look at that. Look at that. You know, it's just so amazing the way it's lettered almost like a professional sign, but in this very odd way, and with these beautiful colors. And then he'll do things like that. It looks like a found sign, but he made it. And these stacks of wood, and this juxtaposition of some type that's dimensional and this stuff that's italicized. It's just gorgeous. Look at that. Amazing stuff. So, there you go. Bob and Roberta Smith. So, look, there are lots of things that you can look at to inspire you. Here's a stack of them. But, you know, look at Crumb. He's just great. And, you know, just look at people, not only at typefaces that exist in magazines and stuff like that, but also look at artists and books and just weird, different ways of doing things. All right, now my well is filled and I'm ready to just let it flow through me. I'm just going to do some kind of free-form lettering, do an alphabet, and see how I feel using a dip pen and some India ink. Whew, that was lots of fun. I hope you're going to go and do your homework now too. And I'm dying to see what you've done.